This is Michaela Rivera from Cottage Grove, Oregon, and you're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with my friend D-Cal.
So, let's start with the E.I.T.H.R.
You're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with D-Cal.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? It's your boy D-Cal here, hosting the E.I.T.H.R podcast. We're in episode number 118. Welcome. It is Friday, the 23rd of June. Hope everyone had a really productive week. Hope everyone had an amazing week. Let's go ahead and finish this thing out with a bang. You can follow us on social media at the E.I.T.H.R, T-H-E, E-I.T.H.R. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter. You can get a free subscription to the TV channel at gnsetv.com. And if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about on the E.I.T.H.R podcast, you can hit us up, 916-282-9372. So for those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. To those who are returning, welcome back. It's your boy, the E.I.T.H.R podcast. It's the elephant in the room where we talk about topics and discussions that are usually difficult for people to have in their everyday circles. So what we try to do is look at it from a devil's advocate perspective. Even if you don't necessarily agree with what we say here, the goal ultimately is for you to be able to have a more informed perspective on what it is that you are continuing to disagree on. And that's fine. We don't necessarily try to change minds. We just want to try to change how you see it. And the rest is completely up to you. So we like to do shout outs. We also give inspirational and motivational. So that's what we're going to do here. For the shout out, I want to give a shout out, man, to, this is a bit of sarcasm. I want to give a shout out to people who don't use their turn signals when they merge lanes. You guys really don't have any idea how fucking annoying you really are. And you really don't pay attention to the people behind you, because ultimately you're creating more problems than not. I understand, people, you might think that you're signaling or think that's not big of a deal. I'm on the road so much, man. I see people who just don't signal into a lane when another car is speeding up to cut another car off to get into. Look, man, just use your damn signal. Simple as that. And if a car is using their signal to merge over, don't be that prick to take that as, oh, they must want me to go faster. That's not proper road etiquette. We just got through talking about bicyclists using the lanes and sharing the road and all that fun stuff, right? So why don't you go ahead and put on your damn blinker whenever you're going to merge? That'll be nice. That'd be really, really nice. I just want to give a shout out. So anyone who's listening to this podcast and you're one of those people, yeah, we don't like you. And if you're one of these people who do use their signal, we're all in unison. We don't like them. So let's go ahead and make the world a better place and use your damn signal. We also do inspirational, motivational, which I said before. And we're going to go ahead with that right now. So if you go to the social media, again, Instagram or Twitter, you can follow. It's the E.I.T.H.R. I put a post earlier and it says, if you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. And that's a quote by Booker T. Washington. Basically, if you want to improve yourself, help somebody else improve their life, you'll get a lot of gratitude out of doing that. and you can change the world, shit, you can change somebody else's world by going out of your way to make them feel better. It'll have a lot to do with your psyche and your well-being also. So we're going to go ahead and get a shout out from our sponsor right quick, and when we get back, we're going to get into these topics that I have for today's podcast. This is your boy D-Cal, the E.I.T.H.R podcast. Be right back.
Most t-shirts are simply cool to look at and or look in. Well, so are ours. But ours also aim to send a message. They aim to put a name on obstacles that once stood in your way and aren't there anymore. Struggles that you turned into successes and crushed. You made it look easy. Shop at mile.today. Mile.today. www.mile.today. A GNS collection.
All right, so we're back at it. Not too long ago on one of my episodes, I had this this post on which was the better Batman. And I mean, unanimously, anybody with sense, Adam West is going to be the one above all. He doesn't count. He's in his own separate category, the late Adam West, because he was the Batman. But we're going to go ahead and bring it to a little bit more of today's time. So we're going to go ahead and talk about from Michael Keaton on to current. So I put one, which was the best Batman, who would win in a fight between Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. And everyone who responded to that, whether it's on Facebook, whether it was on Twitter, whether it was on Instagram, they all said the same thing. Bale was going to get scraped first. Just no matter what happened. Christian Bale was the first one to get his ass whooped. Then the second, a close second, was going to be Ben Affleck, that Batman. So when it came down to it, Michael Keaton, Batman was the one. He was like the old, scowly, scruffy old man who, been around the block a few times. He's going to outwit you. He's going to outsmart you. So therefore, he was going to be the one who was going to be victorious because he had more old school than Affleck. But I got to say, there might be a new contender for number 2. And when it comes to the Batman films, The Dark Knight was my second favorite. Dark Knight Rises was going to probably be the third. Because the way Heath Ledger played the Joker, the way Batman kind of just cut through people. Bane was another methodical foe for Batman, but he also had the brawn to go with it. So that was a good one. Today, for the first time ever, I saw The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Yeah, that Robert Pattinson. Yes, Twilight Robert Pattinson. Yo, that movie was good. And Zoe Kravitz, probably my favorite movie of hers. because I liked her in Divergent. I liked her in the X-Men film. But this one, though, that one, she did her thing. Eartha Kitt will always be Catwoman to me because she was the original Catwoman. And I mean, this is dating back to what is like the late 50s, early 60s with Adam West, late Adam West and the late Eartha Kitt. And then after Eartha Kitt was Michelle Pfeiffer. She, remember with Batman Return? When Batman was having that conversation with Penguin. And you see this little tight thing in leather doing a bunch of backflips, and she turns around and protects her face, and she starts breathing, meow. And there was an explosion. Yeah, that was her. Selena Kyle. Her pretty ass. A hot take for a lot of people, man. I think this version of Catwoman, okay, to me, it's not as good as Eartha Kitt, but she's right up there with Michelle Pfeiffer. And if anyone has seen Catwoman with Halle Berry, you understand why she wasn't mentioned. To me, that Halle Berry, that character, it was almost like they tried too hard with that particular Catwoman character, right? But the one with Zoe Kravitz, yo, she did her thing. She did her thing. That whole movie was, again, this is my first time seeing it was today. I didn't want to see it because I wanted to hold on to the memory of the Batman that I grew up watching, that I was fond of. Yes, I prejudged Robert because of his Twilight character, so I didn't want to see the movie hugely because of, well, same reason why nobody else wanted to see the movie, because of Twilight. If you haven't seen The Batman, see it. Hands down. Hands down. It's out of all the Batman movies that I've seen, it's my number 2. It's my second favorite, man. Like I said, it bumped Dark Knight to 3rd. And that's, for me, that's saying something. Because my brother Andy and I, we kind of relate to certain characters, right? So he identifies me as like the Joker because of how I can get in somebody's head with my words to make a point without touching anything. And I liken him to Bane because he has the intelligence and the sight to see things before it happens, but he also has the physical ability to where if anybody poses an attempted threat to him, well, you're not really going to be much of a match with his skill set. So I was Joker and he was Bane. So when we used to work together, there were certain instances, man, where we would just have, when we would do security, it just kind of fit the mode of the characters. How we saw things, how we handled things, how we would strategically approach certain situations when there was a code 2, when there was a code 3. Anyone who's on security, you kind of know what those codes are. And so we kind of embodied those with whenever we worked. It was a great way to do movie quotes and entertain ourselves during our shifts. This Batman film was dope because you also was introduced to the Penguin, which Colin Farrell, you do not recognize him as that character. The only reason why you know it's him because you know it's him. Otherwise, you would have swore up and down he was never in the movie. You also got to see the Riddler. And the Riddler character, he doesn't match. Well, put it this way. He's not what you expect the Riddler to look like, but he matches everything the Riddler was about. Great film. So I was wrong. This is definitely a movie, no matter how many times I'm going to see it. I'm going to watch it like it's the first time. And it was so many different twists in that film. So, yeah, I was wrong. So I want to make sure I give credit. Listen, Batman is still garbage. He's still a garbage ass character. He's like the one wealthy dude who has all the answers no matter what the scenario is. It's in his little garter belt. That's him. But at least with this particular character, I gotta give him credit, man. This man went deep. This man went deep. So you guys can go ahead and share your opinion about it on the social media, or you can text me if you agree or disagree. 916-282-9372. Now, on to the next thing. Literally in the social media, I put a tweet. And I put a post. Sometimes the answers we seek are literally right in front of us. Just a matter if we choose to see them. Now, this is going to go hand in hand with a lot of us, right? Because we all encounter problems and we all have obstacles in our lives that we face. And we claim we do not know what we need to do to fix them or to manage them or to eliminate them. When the answer is clearly, yes, you do. You know exactly what you need to do. We just choose not to see it. There's not enough time in the day for you to work on a project. Yes, there is. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. God, I just don't get enough sleep at night and just go to bed half an hour earlier. I really need to save money on buy yourself a coffee machine. For the price of that coffee machine, so you can make as much coffee as you want to, you're probably saving 3 or 4 days at Starbucks. Problems usually have the solutions right in front of us. We just choose not to see it. Because sometimes the truth is inconvenient. It doesn't feel good. Right? And a lot of us make choices based on how we're going to feel. A lot of us don't do things because of how we're currently feeling at that moment. And then later on, when time goes by, you realize, man, I wish I would have done this earlier. Because you realize your feeling changed. So, do it. Do it. Knock it out. Pain of regret hurts worse than the pain of success. And I think a lot of us, yours truly included, we like to put things until we feel like doing them. And majority of the times, man, our feelings and our inspiration, they do not always go hand in hand. Just do it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to look back at your day and say, damn, I'm really glad I did that. I'm really glad I took care of that. I'm really glad I handled that. And you're only doing yourself a favor by knocking it out sooner rather than dreading having to do it later. Usually when I do something, when there's a project, here's how I strategize it. I strategize it by doing this. Whatever is the more difficult, whatever is going to be the more tedious, whichever is going to probably consume the most time, that's the project I try to knock out first. Now I know there's a strategy by doing the simpler, less stressful, easier to knock out first. Kind of gets the blood flowing, gets you into a routine. It kind of sets the tone. You get a rhythm. Completely makes all the sense in the world. But the way my brain works, the way my brain sees it, at the end of the day, am I going to want to have to deal with the more difficult, complex task when I'm already not really in the mood? When I'm already done with the day, am I going to want to deal with that bullshit? My answer is no. So what do? I knock that out first. Because for me, none of the less strenuous, the less tedious, the less annoying, it's already been done. So now everything is a cakewalk. 2, the way my brain operates, when I knock out the difficult shit in the beginning, psychologically, it makes me feel more completed knocking out all the little things at the end. Because now I'm more motivated to just get them out the way. Because the hard stuff is done. Now it's like, let me just do this. Let me just do this. Let me just do this. But again, some people feel I want to get the easy stuff done first, just to knock it out, just to get it set. You'll be able to see what path you need to take to knock all the more difficult tasks out as you knock out the simpler stuff first. Whichever way works best for you, go that route. But the answer is usually right there in front of you, which works best. Because I know how that works for me. I know that when I do the easy shit in the beginning, I know I'm going to have a difficult day. Right? Psychologically. Even if it doesn't seem difficult, it will appear difficult because in my mind, you set yourself up to do the difficult tasks during the time you knew you weren't really going to do them. Right? Yes, it's a matter of fortitude and discipline, sure. But if you know yourself, why put yourself in a situation where it's going to give you grief later? Life's hard enough. Stop making it hard on yourself. So find out what solution you need to fix your problem and just do it. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Just do it. Simple as that. Another thing, relationships. Because you know whether this relationship, friendship, is something that is worthwhile, something that's worth keeping, right? A lot of us do. Now, there's a difference between, venting. You like what you do. It's just you got to get shit off your chest. It's a complete difference. But in other aspects of it, the solution could possibly be a communication or just flat out organization. I like to, the day before or the night before, plan and plot out what needs to be done for the next day. So now I have my own itinerary. Now I have my own game plan, my own map, if you will, on how I'm going to knock this out. And when it comes to like relationships type of things, this is pretty funny. A lot of people do things and expect very little backlash or very little consequence to come back at them. And you kind of got to ask yourself why people do that. The answer is right there in front of you. Do you really need to have the last word? No, you don't. As my ass out in Ohio would say, sometimes I just need to STF you. But she's going to get the last word anyway. She knows that's her problem. But she also knows that's why she's single. Right? She knows her mouth is part of the reason why. But then again, she's also knows that she's dealing with people who aren't used to a woman who's very opinionated like that. So it's a combination of everything. A lot of people and have relationship issues because the people who they choose to be with aren't the people they're meant to be with. They need to be with. They're not people who they should be with. Because the people that you're with don't bring out the best in you. They don't make you realize how much better you could be. They don't inspire you to be better than what you are. And there's always a question I want to ask, like some of my homegirls, and I've asked maybe one or two of them, but there's definitely a lot more I want to ask this question to. People in general, but I'm just going to use an example for women, say, I want to marry my best friend. I want to date my best friend. Okay. Which is good. Your partner should be your best friend. Like, that should be the person that knows as much about you, if not more, than yourself. So, ladies, here's a question. If you are looking to date your best friend and you want to be with someone you consider to be your best friend, and you want this person to be as close to you as possible, like a best friend, why don't y'all ever pull from your friend zone of men? Don't worry, I'll wait. Remember, the answer is sometimes right in front of us. We just choose not to see it. You want to date your best friend, so you put a guy that likes you in the friend zone. Then the guy you pursue is the guy who's from a country whose flag is nothing but red, and he flies that red flag high, and you are colorblind because red looks green to you, and that's who you feel you can change. And so when he breaks your heart multiple times, multiple places, you sit back and say, men ain't shit. Okay. Fellas, women ain't shit. You don't love these hoes. You can't trust these hoes. But all the women that will actually be the one you need, that ain't the one you want. You want the one that makes you the most popular, that makes you the most talked about. You go after people will go after the one that everyone else wants, then complains when someone else gets them. I don't get that shit. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Here's what I've learned. You want the one that nobody saw coming. That's the killer right there. That's the one. Right? My brother and I had this conversation. And we go on a system. And again, this might seem judgmental to many people. This might seem superficial to others. I 100% understand that. But everyone has a judgment. Everyone has a scale. Everybody has a method that he or she uses to gauge someone for whatever reason. So my brother and I, we had this agreement, this understanding, this code based on society's scale and what society will say is attractive. We use a scale of 1 to 10. What you want to do is you want to find the 7. Only go with a 7. Again, everyone has a different range of how they gauge and how they rate. We're just speaking between him and I. Everybody wants to go for the 10. No, what you do is you go after the 7, right? Here's why. Because the 7 is like, I see what you can be while seeing who you really are. The 7 is super modest, bro. The 7 believes he, or they believe she, they believe themselves. They're really just a 5. They don't think that highly of themselves. Not insecure. They're just super modest. So when that 7 cleans up, you know, when he shaves, get his hair cut, throws on that suit, throws on that outfit, puts on that cologne, right? When she puts on those yoga pants, that t-shirt, those flip-flops, when she puts on that sundress, when she puts on that tank top spaghetti strap with the Daisy Dukes and the wedges, when she gets her makeup right, that 7 becomes a 10. In her eyes, in his eyes, they're 5s. When they get right, now they think they're a 7. Actuality, they're now a 10. So when you bring them around people, they didn't see that coming. Because they're usually dressed homely, right? Or they dress homeless, or they bummy. They dress down. So no one's ever seen them when they cleaned up. So now, to everybody else, they're a 9, 9.5, or a 10. To that 10, compared to yours, well, now they get knocked down to a 7. Because you're regular now. You're everyday. We see you all the time. You're basic. And that 10 sees your partner like they're a 15. Because they now have all the attention that original 10 was getting from everybody. And your partner is a homebody. He doesn't go out, she doesn't go out much, if at all. So they're rarely ever seen, which causes their stock and their value to skyrocket, which means people want to be next to you to find out where they can find the next one. Like I said, it sounds superficial. But you fuck the 10s. You marry the 7. because that stock would never drop. Because they're quality. Versus everybody trying to be a 10. That's nothing but quantity. Makes a big, big difference. Huge difference. And I think that goes for a lot. So when people with relationships, sometimes you need to find a person that's right there in front of you. When I get it, physical appearance, there has to be some kind of physical attraction. That makes all the sense in the world. Common sense, sure. But looks fade, bro. Looks fade. Right? And beauty's only in the eyes of the beholder. So, again, what's a 10 to me might be a 7 to you. What's a 7 to me might be a 10 to you. Right? So, there's all kinds of people. I mean, I know all kinds of people who someone will look at and be like, man, she is bad. Yeah, bro, she has a nice Coke bottle shape, but I'm telling you right now, the soda inside is flat. There's no flavor to it. It's just there. Right? You got some people, you look at them, you're kind of like, okay, well, I mean, they're cool, they're nice, they're funny. But behind closed doors or in private, they're everything you've ever asked for. And what's more important? Looks that fade or energy that will last forever? And I think a lot of us, we're brought up in an environment where looks is the primary thing. And coming from a male perspective, I know a lot of women, my homegirls, all have the same thing. Is all men is one is this, all men one is that. I got you. Let me share this little tidbit of information from a male perspective. A male is going to take whatever the female offers. So, if pussy is the one thing that you're offering, if that's what you put on the platter, if that's the main thing on the menu, that's what he's going to order. Right? Ladies, if looks is all he's offering, and that's his ticket, then you're clearly letting him know that's what I'm trying to buy. That's what he's going to sell you. And it's interesting, the older you get, the more you realize some of your assets don't work no more because, well, like anything else with a motor and a body, the more miles you put on it, the more wear it has. You start seeing people 15 years younger than you. If your whole thing was based on looks, that's the game you're in. And you have to develop something else. That's why, again, going back to my example of 7s, they usually have the coolest personality, bro. Because sometimes we understand we don't have the looks like some of the other people. So we got to find something else to compete with. So it's jokes, it's one-liners, it's conversation. Hell, if you super ugly, it's memes. Right? Meme game. That's the next thing. But it's like the answer's right in front of you. You choose to look. And I think some people, we're in a world of judgmental, where everything is based on what other people see, think, feel, and will determine. Get yourself in a space, man, where if this person makes you feel everything you've always wanted to feel, you'll find the attraction to them. That's a generalization. Of course, there's going to be exceptions. If you can find somebody with great looks and personality and sense of humor and adventurous and your version of ambitious and outgoing, just enough introvert or just enough extrovert, cool. I like to date people who have different opinions about me or different opinions on things than me. That's how I learn. That's how I can teach. That's how they learn. That's how they teach. One thing is we all tend to want to date people who have the same religious beliefs, or we want to date those who have the same political beliefs. We want to date people who have the same, beliefs in hobbies and habits, and can't learn if it's the same, bro. Unless they're ambitious enough to learn what they don't know, then you can kind of follow suit. But yeah, that's it. Sometimes the answer is right in front of us if we choose to look. Right? And that's why one of my things is, be cool with everybody. Be cool with everybody. I was doing this episode hoping my homegirl Gia, Miss Ogia, is listening to the podcast. She's probably going to catch us on YouTube. You can follow us on YouTube. The parent company at the GNS Inc. THEGNSINC. And when someone makes you feel comfortable to kind of let you into their world, that's a huge flex. And so the answer for me that was right in front of me is, you have a cool ass personality, bro. You're good people. You acknowledge your demons, you battling them, and you understand that everyone has demons too, and they're battling them. My A1 told me, you're like everybody's number one cheerleader, because I want to see everyone succeed. So there's my solution. Be on everybody's side, right? Especially if they're trying to do good and encourage anybody and everybody. Man, listen, if that's your dream, fucking wake up and go make it happen. If that's your dream, wake up, make it a reality. That's that, right? What's an answer to one of your problems that you know is right in front of you? You just haven't chose to see it yet. Clearly, you ain't got to tell me, but tell yourself, what's something that you know is in front of you? You just got to look. Remember, the truth will set you free, but at first it's going to piss you off. It's your boy D-Cal, the E.I.T.H.R podcast, man. Appreciate your time. We'll be back next time. Have a good weekend. What up, people? It's D-Cal, and I'm the chairman of GNS ETV. I just want to share a little bit of the reason why I created GNSETV.com. I wanted to create a platform where I had the control, a place where an artist can get a fair shot without having to feel as if their quality wasn't good enough or because they didn't have a platform to show their craft. If you got something you want the people to see, or if you want to check it out yourself, support small business, GNSETV.com. It's a free subscription. It costs you nothing but a couple seconds to create a profile. And you get to check out the VOD, videos on demand, or see what playlist I have streaming. GNSETV.com.